I mentioned before that I met a bunch of Bar Mitzvah students today, and we have a lot of Bar Mitzvah celebrations planned next year. So we're starting to think about that. We're meeting a lot of kids that are having their celebrations next year, and so, like I said before, 30 minutes before the service, when I spoke with Rabbi David, and we both agreed that he should rest, I was put to the task to do a Dvar Torah. So I was thinking, thank you. So I was thinking, yeah, it's getting here. So I was thinking, what should I talk about? And then it came to mind something that happened today. When one of our students came in the door, and this student, I'm not going to say who it was. I met a bunch today, so it doesn't matter right now. But the student came in right after me, right after I walked in, and we were both about 5 minutes late. That's how we came in. We were both 5 minutes late, and her parents were here, and her mother said, where were you? Because we were worried we couldn't reach you for a half hour. And she has one of those watches, one of those watches, it's not a phone, it's like a watch, right? That can, you know what I'm talking about? So it's a watch that 12-year-old, 13-year-olds have, so they don't have to, So she had a watch. So where were you? And the mother was very worried. She was very worried. And then the girl just started, out of nowhere, started crying, like just out of nowhere. And my future daughter was like flashing before my eyes. My daughter, who I have now, but her future has been flashing before my eyes. Her name's Lily. We have a few Lilies here. And I was just picturing that there was a lot of stress. It was a very, very stressful moment. And why was there stress? Because apparently her watch wasn't working. They were both trying to reach each other. Mom and Dad were worried. They were very worried because they couldn't reach her and they didn't know what happened. And she, daughter, was also worried and didn't know how to contact them, didn't know how to say wasn't sure about the way, but she made a big effort and she made it. And there was just a big moment of a lot of sort of crying and misunderstanding in the moment. And then it was I stepped away for a second to let the family solve it. But what I noticed was happening slowly is that the truth started being to be revealed through emotion and through trying to understand each other's emotion in that moment. And even when there was this argument, it came to a solution, maybe through mindfulness, through waiting a second, through stopping for a moment. And that made me think a lot about tomorrow and about how we are going to enter a meal, with our Jewish Thanksgiving. And we're going to meet with a lot of friends and family, maybe people we haven't seen in a while, depending on what kind of Seder we're going to do. If it's a long one, if it's a short one, we're going to be seeing family and we're going to be interacting with people. And made me think about how it is so hard today to talk to each other. How it's so hard to talk to each other, especially if we think that the other person might not have the opinion that we have, and how it's hard. And this Shabbat HaGadol, so we're entering Shabbat HaGadol, which is the Shabbat that's before Passover, and it's not only before Passover, it's in the morning of Passover, tomorrow morning. And we read from the Haftorah on Shabbat HaGadol, we read at the end of the Haftorah, the prophet Micah, he says, Hine anochi sholech lachem et Eliyah hanavi lifnei bo yom Adonai hagadol v'anora. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and awesome day of the Lord. And then it says, V'heshiv lev avot al banim v'lev banim al avotam God will, or the prophet, the prophet, Elijah the prophet, will turn the hearts of parents to their children and the hearts of children to their parents. And of course, we say this sentence, it's very appropriate for the Shabbat before Passover, right? Because on Passover, what do? We open the door, right? We're opening the door, and that's one of the moments where we have Elijah who can come visit us, right? We have a few moments of that. We actually, it's going to be interesting because it's Saturday night, and Saturday night's another moment where Elijah might actually come tomorrow. I'm just saying, because it's Saturday night. Saturday night we say Eliyahu Hanavi and our Havdalah. Passover, and what's the third time Elijah comes? In a bris. Right? In a bris we have a seat for Elijah, right? And so we're waiting for Elijah, and we're waiting for Elijah, the prophet. We're saying Elijah, the Messiah, and we're saying we need someone. We need someone to heal. We need someone to heal us. We need someone to heal our family, to our families, our homes, our national family, our spiritual family. But there's also a catch here, right? Because the original verse doesn't only end with a happy ending, it also ends with a warning. It says, Pen avovi kiti et haaretz cherem, lest I come and strike the land with utter destruction. And because there's that ending, we repeat again the sentence about Elijah the prophet. So that's what we do on Shabbat HaGadol. We repeat that Elijah the prophet is going to come, and he will return the hearts of parents to their children, hearts of children to their parents. I can't think of something more appropriate these days about learning maybe to heal or to learn to approach each other again. And that we have that choice before this Shabbat. And when we say lev avot al banim, when we say the hearts of parents to their children, the rabbis talk about this thousands of years ago. And there's a famous argument between Rabbi Meir and Rabbi one of the other rabbis. There's a famous argument. It's very famous. It is, actually. Oh, wait. No, I have that here. It's Rabbi Yehuda. Of course it's Yehuda. So there's a famous argument between Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda, because they say, what is this sons and daughters, what are they talking about? Lev banim al avot. What does that mean? Returning the hearts, sons. What are these sons? So of course, when they're talking about these sons and daughters, they're us, right? Those are us. Those are either the people of Israel, maybe it's the people of earth, depending on how you're looking at it. And Rabbi Yehuda says that you are the children of the Lord your God, and when you behave like children. So he says when you behave like human beings, or when you're behaving like children, that's when God will treat you as children. But Rabbi Meir says, ben kach uven kach atem korim banim. So no matter what, you're still called children. So no matter what you do, we are those humans. We are those children. So even when we're disappointing, or even when we're cruel to each other, or even when we break a trust, even if we're not talking to each other, we are still siblings. We don't stop being a family. And we can disagree, we can argue, we can cry, we can be disappointed, but one of the points, I think, of saying this on Shabbat HaGadol is that we can't give up on each other. So tomorrow night begins Passover and the festival of our liberation. As we gather around the table, we gather around with family, with friends. We all have our baggage, and we do something strange, right? We take a matzah at the beginning, and we have yachatz. We break it in half. Smaller piece stays visible. Larger piece, which is the afikoman, right? Afikoman, is hidden away. And I guess I ask myself, why do we begin the festival of redemption with such pain, maybe with something broken, right? Why do we begin it with something broken? So rabbis tell us that that's where redemption begins. It begins in that brokenness. So before we even tell the story, this is at the beginning of the Seder, before we even tell the story, before we eat our meal, even before the questions, even before Manishtana, we acknowledge that we are not whole, we're fractured. And we're hiding parts of ourselves, and we're still searching. And just today, Rabbi Ingber sent an email to all of us, to the community, about a ritual that we are going to do at our Seder. We're going to do it on our Seder on Sunday night, and we're hoping that people will do this at home as well. So you can read that email, but I'll just mention about it that we are going to set up on our Seder table, we're going to place a bowl with 59 broken pieces of matzah. So each piece represents one of the hostages still held captive in Gaza. And before starting Magid, someone is going to point to the bowl and they'll say, these are the fragments of modern captivity. The table is going to respond, let them go, bring them home. And then we're going to read the names of all the hostages. We're going to remember, we're going to pray, we're going to hope. You can read more about that ritual in the email, but even if we don't do that full ritual tomorrow, we could do one thing. We could remember the brokenness that still needs healing. We can remember hearts that still need the returning. And for this Shabbat HaGadol, I'm not calling all of us to agree on everything. We really don't have to agree. That's not realistic. And when my wife and I, when we argue, then there's always we try to remember that we don't have to agree. We just have to try to understand each other and try to understand each other's feelings and what we're feeling. And we're going to bring a lot of our opinions and a lot of baggage, and I'm wishing for all of us that part of our redemption will be, maybe part of our freedom that we're searching, will be to let go of our own baggage, to let go of our own maybe pain that we're feeling when we're hearing these questions and when we're hearing other people bring up things that we don't agree with, and be able to listen and be able to hear their pain, and to not stop talking to each other, even if it's hard. To not write anyone off as they're not my family, and like that broken matzah, we may not be whole, but we're still part of the same table. Ben kach uven kach kroim banim, like Rabbi Meir says. He says, no matter what, we are those children. No matter what, we're children of the same source. Still siblings, still one people. So on this Shabbat HaGadol, I want to wish, may Elijah come soon. May the captives come home again. May our hearts turn toward each other. And may this Shabbat truly be Gadol, a great Shabbat of healing, hope, and wholeness, and have a Pesach Mashmoti, a meaningful Passover. Shabbat Shalom.